In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the exact process every player needs to know to build a team with any Pokemon they want effortlessly. So, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Mr. Jamvad, the Pokemon teaching extraordinaire. And we're going to be building with the new Pokemon today. I thought about what I wanted to, because there's so many new ones, right? But ultimately I decided to go in order. Now, hit the like button down below if you guys are excited for the new games. If you're an old subscriber, definitely, you know, I don't even request things like this typically, but we need to get this video out to everyone who needs to know the process of team building. We're going to be building with the starter Pokemon to, what's this called? To begin. And as you see to the left of your screen, or it should be the left, this is the exact 6-step process that anybody needs. As long as you do it, you will have a at least half decent team. Now, some of the steps are a bit tricky because there's a new metagame, but that's where great opportunity lies as well. So you're gonna see in a sec as we begin. In fact, we're gonna just get it started right now. So step one, as you can see, is identify the goal. So whenever you're building a team, you must have a goal. Think about anything in Pokemon. This goes for team building and battling, and a lot of great content coming out on that soon. So if you're not subscribed already. Best place, #1 place for competitive Pokemon as far as you getting better as a player on the internet. So stay tuned. A lot of things I've been working on for you guys. So back to the team building process. Step one is to identify the goal. So you want to think about it like a GPS, right? So if you hop in your car, right, and you say, okay, I want to go somewhere. How likely is it that you'll go to a place that you want to go if you just say something like, I want to go somewhere, right? So similarly, when you're building a team, you must have an objective or a destination in mind. Where do you want to end up, right? This is the cardinal question. Where do you want to end up? And so you must identify a goal. Now, the goal could be, I want to make a team with this specific Pokemon, or I want to, you know, even more specific, I want to make a specific team with this Pokemon and this Pokemon moveset, or this move. Whatever it is you want, a team can be built around it. You can build around a particular playstyle, and playstyle just means every team has a general sort of rhythm to it. So what's something that could be easily correlated no matter where you're from? So you want to think about it in terms of, let's say, like if you go to different cultures, you notice their dance patterns are different, right? You go to this region, maybe even within the same country, their dancing is different from what you're probably used to, but everybody within that space knows it. So similarly, Pokemon has what are called like rhythms, and each team has a certain rhythm to it. And so over time, as you play, you'll start to notice the patterns. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. The best part is you get to learn while playing, and it's super easy. We're going to deal with any anxiety you're dealing with. So nothing should be stopping you from building your ideal team. So identify the goal. Remember, each team has a rhythm, so you want to determine what am I trying to get to. In this case, we're building around the new Pokemon starter final evolution, MEOWSKARADA. Scarada. I don't know. We're just gonna call it Meow for now. Ooh, man, that should rap. But yeah, so the team must have a goal in mind. So right here, this could be built around a particular Pokemon, particular strategy, particular playstyle. A goal allows you to have a direction to select your team members wisely, right? Because if you're up on the road and you want to end up somewhere, you're just, you know, I guess I'll take this left here. I guess I'll continue straight. I guess I'll go 5 miles down the road. You don't know where you're going, so you don't have any sort of precision to your movements, and so you're gonna likely end up in some random place that you didn't desire, get lost, and just failing. And we don't want you guys failing. This channel is about your success. So step one's pretty easy. So we've achieved that. Step two is check what Pokemon or common strategies would stop the goal you're trying to achieve. So we identified we want to build around this Pokemon. Now, typically, when what's called a metagame is established, and a metagame is essentially the patterns that exist. That's a very cumbersome definition. I mean, even using the word cumbersome there, very complicated definition. A metagame is basically, so let's say that you have, back to the culture example, the dances that exist within that culture is technically called would be the same thing as a metagame, right? Everybody within that space recognizes that dance and can likely repeat it if they wanted to, and they understand the symbolism, the music that goes behind it. They're familiar with it, they recognize it. Whereas in the case of, let's say, somebody who isn't familiar with that metagame or that culture, because a metagame is the same thing as a culture, if they go into that region and they're observing the dance, they're unfamiliar with the music, it's possible that they're not able to properly resonate with it or feel it or enjoy it. Maybe they can, but it's possible that they may not be able to quickly adapt and learn and appreciate the music and the dance and all the things that go within that culture because they're just not familiar with it. Now, the more they gain familiarity with it, the better they can start adapting and I'm making this up on the fly, so I can see holes in this analogy, but I think it's solid enough to where if you're not being overly critical, you can see the parallels. So a metagame you want to think about is that culture. So every Pokemon tier, and tier is just a grouping of Pokemon, has a certain culture to it. So this Pokemon, let's say, may be used in a different way within a different culture than it would be, which meaning tier or metagame. Man, there are just a lot of terms because I'm trying to explain this in a way where if you're very new to Pokemon, you can easily grasp it. But I wasn't prepared to be explaining all this stuff. So for now, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will answer them. I mean, any question it won't take very long. If a word is like complicated or, hey, Jam, can you provide some clarity on this, because I don't want to take up too much of the time explaining things that people may already know, so especially my audience. So the second step here, because there's no metagame, right, there are no patterns yet because it's completely new, nobody knows what to expect, we're going to go based on its typing, right? So we're going to go, okay, what is this Pokemon's stats? Are we trying to use it as something offensive or something defensive, right? And in the case of this, we're going to be using it offensively. Now we notice this attack stat is way better than its special attack stat, and so we're going to be invested in that. We're going to go all the way to max attack and max speed, 345 speed. And I won't go into too much detail onto... The reason we're not invested in any defense is because, one, the Pokemon is not defensively... The purpose of it is not to take hits, which is what a defensive Pokemon does. That's what's known as preserving value. So defensive Pokemon prevent you from losing value, while offensive Pokemon take value from the opponent. Now you can think of value as HP. It's not only HP, but you can think of it as HP. So a defensive Pokemon obviously loses less HP when your opponent attacks, and offensive Pokemon take more HP from the opponent when it attacks. So that's why we're invested in its best offensive stats. So it goes up to what is 319, which isn't the strongest compared to most things, and we're just gonna put that extra bit of oh well, it's actually faster than I thought. So we're gonna put it at a plus speed nature. Oh my, this boy is fast. And now we're gonna look at his moveset and determine, okay, what moves make sense. So typically you want to have with offensive Pokemon, you want it to be able to hit as many Pokemon, as many types as possible, either neutrally or super effectively. But the caveat is you also want to make sure that it has type moves that are of the type that it is. Now, the thing with the ability Protean is that the Pokemon changes type to match the move it's about to use. Now, in previous generations, this would occur every time you attack. So, for example, let's say this thing is a grass dark type, but I decided to use the move acrobatics, I would actually change into a flying type. So it wouldn't really matter what move I put, because all of them would be receive the same type attack bonus, which is, you know, you get the boost whenever you use an attack that's of your same type. So because of the changes they made this generation, this is only going to occur, I believe, on the first turn or one time in battle. Like, so that first time you get the opportunity to use Protean. No, that's something else I'm thinking of. I think that's how Zacian's abilities work now. But the way this works is you change into that type, and then you don't change every time you switch moves. So you want to be careful about what move you're locking yourself into. Well, not locking yourself, but what type you're turning yourself into. So immediately I'm gonna put some moves that are generally pretty useful. We're gonna make things simple and put things that are of its same type already. So we're gonna put knockoff there. Knockoff removes the opponent's item and is almost a base 100 move, so it's just a great move. It's been a great move for generations. We're gonna put a grass move on there because we're invested in the physical stats. Obviously, we're gonna be looking for moves that abuse that, and it seems like Seed Bomb is the only thing it just gets. Yeah, Flower Trick always rejects. Well, actually, this is a useful move, Flower Trick. Well, they haven't checked the moves yet. Flower Trick, if it always crits, that means this is a base 105 move, and it goes through crit, so that's very good. So let's see what else it has. Remember, it has Protean, so that's very useful. And I'm sure everyone else has already thought about this. Does it receive Swords Dance? Is there any boosting capabilities? Doesn't receive Swords Dance. Does it receive Bulk Up or anything of that nature? No. So it doesn't seem to be able to boost outside of Home Claws. And it's already a very fast Pokemon. So what I'm thinking here, as most people who have looked at this Pokemon have probably already thought, it's actually interesting. It gets a water move. Very cool. Is that we're going to be trying out a Choice Bandit set. Choice Band. And the reason for this is, to me, the way this Pokemon is looking, and there are a lot of reasons for this, the more you start to watch the videos on the channel, all competitive knowledge will become more and more clear. I just can't break down everything for everybody all at once. So we're going to be running U-Turn. So now in U-Turn, it's just switches you out, obviously, provides momentum. And it's going to be stab every time. Now, as far as the coverage move, you want to think about, okay, what types resist grass and dark. So no type individually resists both, but they're likely Pokemon that we'll eventually run into that can handle both. So let's think of something like a we could actually, how this is supposed to work, because if he says check what Pokemon or strategies would stop the goal. Now, because it's a new metagame, because it's a new culture, it's hard to say what will be common and what will give us a hard time, because we haven't played anything yet. And so tentatively, I'm going to put I think I'm going to put, let's just get a high jump kick. I see Play Rough as an option. I see Spikes as an option. I see Thunder Punch as an option. I remember these things will receive stab. So it doesn't get, this looks like something that should get close combat. I'm surprised it doesn't get it. Brick Break is the best. So it doesn't seem beyond its grass moves to have the greatest arsenal. So when I think of something that may resist this, I think of like a Chestnut or something, or a Breloom, or a, what is this, Fairy, something that's Fairy and Poison, maybe Steel and Steel and Fairy. So because there's fighting would be a great sort of neutral thing here. But since Play Rough was gonna be stab, we're gonna just try Play Rough for now. right? I just, again, don't know what you're going to be running into. And I don't want to waste all the time thinking that up, because step 6 is going to fix that anyway. So we've picked a set. We've picked a Pokemon that we're going to be building around. I'm very excited to be using this. And stay tuned, again, if you're not subscribed, because I will be uploading a video today using this Pokemon and team, so you can see what it's all about. Now, because it's grass and dark, again, when it's a new metagame, you're going to build solely off typing, because you just don't know what you're going to be running into. So based on grass and dark, you want to think about, okay, since this thing is going to be U-turning a lot, it's going to be forcing switches, because nothing wants to take these strong hits that we're giving off. You're going to think, okay, what can take advantage of what dark and grass would lure in? So dark and grass will likely lure in maybe a lot of steel types, right? And so just off jump, we're going to pair this thing with some sort of fire type, right? Again, we're just going to do a basic balanced sort of core here, where we're going to have 3 offensive Pokemon and 3 defensive Pokemon as we learn the metagame and see what the heck is out there. Okay, well, Dragon and Dark, that's something. So Play Rough actually covers that as well as U-turn. So let's try out a fire type Pokemon here. We're going to be putting out a Volt Switch core here. Let's try a little Volt Switch core. We're going to put a little Rotom Heat in everybody's life with his heavy duty boots. I was gonna check, like, is this out of the game? So we're gonna, Rotom Heat was actually very common and very, very popular in the beginning of the early meta games. Because I don't know, again, what to expect, what are the beasts currently, we're just gonna be going with a typical Rotom Heat, with the Nasty Plot, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Overheat moveset, right? So typical Rotom Heat. And what's beautiful about this is that Rotom Heat usually struggles with dragon types, and this thing has a just very fast, and it can volt. If it volt switches out, if the opponents aren't careful, they can get stuck in a vortex, right? A vortex of just. So we're gonna max those out. We're gonna put max speed on it again, just to be safe here. I don't know what to expect, but it can be put in a vortex where you're volt switching on the dragon type and bringing out your Meow, and then the Meow can threaten it with either a Choice Banded Stab U-turn or a Choice Banded Stab Play Rough. So, guys, I'm so pumped to get started with this new generation. And it's crazy because I was like, slumming around, I'll get to it. But the moment I start the process, I remember why I love this game so much. And again, so many amazing things coming out soon that you guys will literally blow your minds as far as the content that's coming soon, man. It's crazy. So now that we have that, we have a setup sweeping sort of, well, it's not really a sweeper, a setup breaker sort of thing and a choice banded thing. We're going to look at these two. Okay, what made these two struggle with, right? So I'm looking at it now because you want to look through the tier and say, okay, what's the problem? I could see, and remember, these two are not meant to be taking a lot of hits, so it's okay if they're defensive synergies and the best. It's more important to focus on how we're gonna take value from the opponent with these. And so I want to use focus on one new Pokemon at a time. New team building video coming tomorrow. So we're gonna be trying out, I want hazards to be a thing. So many new Pokemon, guys. So many new Pokemon. We're going to be giving, who do we give a shot here, y'all? What about Future Sights? Future Sight? I think Teleport got something happened with Teleport. I just didn't watch the videos to know. One's special, one's physical. Wait, Bisharp evolves? Is that a Bisharp evolution? Bisharp got Eviolite? I mean, as if that's going to be a big difference, right? But it's an option. I mean, though Bisharp's always going to like his life, but I can see Bisharp's Eviolite coming into play. So, to just get this thing going, we're going to actually put on a... I'm going to give Nido Queen, Nido King, Nido Queen. Which one is... we're going to give Nido King a go. I wonder if it got any new interesting moves. So Nido King obviously provides us the ground type coverage. I don't know why his moves aren't popping up. I guess Nido King is not a Pokemon? What the hell is going on? Okay, maybe they didn't program Nido King in. Okay, so I guess Nido King is not... Did I click a mon that's not in the game? I could have sworn I just saw the Nido King. Okay, anyway. Yeah, we're gonna use Garchomp. Of course, King Chomp. We're gonna use Garchomp, guys. We're gonna use Garchomp. The old reliable Garchomp. He used a nice Gar. Let's see what Garchomp got. So obviously we're gonna have our Earthquake here. We can't have Garchomp without Earthquake. And we may end up having... We're gonna have Spikes. I know Garchomp got Spikes. We're gonna have offensive Spikes Garchomp. We're gonna have the Swords Dance there for the boost. And we're just going to keep it simple. Nice Dragon Claw. Not sure what to expect yet. But we're going to force some mons out with Garchomp and Spike. So because these are forcing so many switch-ins, we want to have a lot of hazards up. And because this thing gets knockoff, right? Because this thing gets knockoff, it can remove people's heavy-duty boots, so we can punish with the hazards even further. Isn't it beautiful? Don't you love it when a plan comes together? So now we're going to focus on our defensive backbone. So all these resist, funnily enough, most types, except maybe fighting. But that's not the purpose of them, right? It's to offensively destroy. So as far as the defensive backbone, man, I'm so excited to see what this tier has in store for us. Corviknight's in the tier, interestingly. I didn't know if it was in the game. But Corviknight's back, big bad Corvi. Corvi's just old reliable. I'm going to throw a Corviknight on here, you know. Old reliable Corviknight. We're going to throw I'm going to throw some cool, create some cool cores here. You know, I'm actually going to make this Garchomp, because I know Galarian Arcanine, or what, not Galarian, something, Hisuian Arcanine is a thing. I know a lot of new mons are beasts. Actually, no, I'll keep the Garchomp offensive. I'll keep it offensive for now. So we're going to put Corviknight on this bad boy. We need a Stealth Rock user. Right, we know we have Garchomp as an option, but I don't want to overload Garchomp with too many rolls. I know a lot of things get Stealth. Actually, what we can do is actually check what gets Stealth Rock. And then pick from there, because I know a lot of new Pokemon that didn't get Stealth Rock before get it now. So I can select from that, like Hydreigon, like what? It's insane. Quagsire, things of that nature. Tinkaton. What the heck is that? Interesting. It's actually not. It's a lot of the things that I would have expected to get ground Stealth Rock to get it. So maybe the Spike. I'm actually gonna put rocks on Garchomp instead. I think, and find a better Spike user, because Spikes seems to have a better selection. Because I don't want to go with another ground type. I could. But for a couple of reasons, I'd rather. Actually, this thing gets Spikes. So what we could do is actually... No, I like the coverage it has now. I'm not going to put Spikes on it. Because we want to get up a lot of hazards so that they're just getting battered down. And I'm super excited to use this team, guys. Again, stay tuned later today. If you're not subscribed, subscribe right now, or you're going to miss this squad going to work. Luminion got spikes? No. Okay. I was like, what the heck? Luminion got spikes. First and foremost, why is Luminion a thing? Grass Ghost. Very cool thing. Excited to use that thing. Ground grass, huh? I mean, even the spike users are mid. It's like, so yeah. Okay, so alright. So we're gonna do. I'm actually gonna use Fortress over Corviknight. I'm gonna use Fortress here. I use Fortress for a couple reasons. One, is still a steel type, it's a beast, and it can check a lot of the dragons that I think are gonna be. I think a lot of like physical dragons are like a thing. I'm gonna rock Fortress here. It's gonna pack one hazard. Now, typically Fortress has multiple hazards, but Fortress also has access to this is Stealth Rock. No, spikes, because Garchomp has rocks. Fortress typically runs a lot of hazards, but also it has Rapid Spin, which is a big deal because I don't have to get rid of my own hazards with Defog. It also has Iron Defense and Body Press access now. Shout outs to PokeMD for the wisdom. So we can actually defeat people now, right? Fortress is not a sitting duck. I'm gonna run max defense because that's his highest stat. Look at that, 416, unrivaled. We're gonna put the rest in special defense. Now, based on how the metagame develops and we start to see the patterns in what's common, we may change this, but for now we're gonna keep it as such. So Fortress obviously is weak to fire. We have 2 fire resist, but we have a defensive core here, so we want to make sure that everybody is Gucci. And so what we're going to do is, Alomomola is looking very handsome right now. The reason for that is it has access to Wish and Regenerator, and so it can actually heal our Rotom and Garchomp. And Fortress, which have no recovery. Let's put Alomomola on there. Let's put our boy Alomomola on there. Strong water type, again, Regenerator. Loves that. One of the most annoying mons of all time because of its massive HP stat. What we're gonna do is, does it get toxic anymore? That was like a critical thing it got. Oh no, it doesn't get a status move. Okay, so it's gonna be straight support. Man, it doesn't get a status move. All right, we're gonna have to figure something out with this boy, cause that's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Whew, that's a big deal, man. No toxic? This might not make the cut then. So let's see what else learns Wish in this game. Okay, quite a few things. Vaporeon learns Wish. I wonder if it learns Toxic as well. But Vaporeon is not a sitting duck like Alomomola is from a moveset standpoint. So that may be an option there. Let's see what Vaporeon actually has some utility outside of, because it has things like Yawn. Yeah, so Vaporeon is looking like a better Wisher here. Right, so we have 2 electric resists, well 3 resists, 1 immunity. We got Fortress for the hazards, the spikes. And none of our walls are sitting ducks. So obviously Wish Protect. We can run Baton Pass is banned, so we cannot run that. I don't know if there are any tricky setup mods, so I'm thinking we may run Haze to put a stop to their shenanigans. We're gonna rock Yawn, just so anybody getting any ideas. It actually gets Calm Mind now. Vaporeon got Calm Mind? Okay, alright guys, so we're going to be rocking Calm Mind Vaporeon as a backup sweeper of sorts. That was not a thing before. What? Vaporeon got Calm Mind. Okay, so now it does mean that I'm going to have to run max defense on this, which is fine because of the water absorbability. And it's just his naturally high special defense stat. Well, not high, but you know, it'll feel high as it's taking the hits because of his high HP stat. Calm Mind, whoa, that's bonkers. I thought about putting Voltage on this, but I think Body Press. And again, it's okay, guys, for the sets to be wonky or not working, and you'll see as we go down to the final steps. So our final Pokemon. So now we have water, steel. So currently we have no good fighting solution. So we want to make sure that we can handle strong fighting types. Probably could have had better solutions. I might end up switching something else out, but we want to make sure that we can handle fighting types. So we got to find a mon that doesn't mind dealing with that. And why don't they buff water compaction, man? That always annoyed me. It's about time they buffed that. Cause that's a good. It has a recovery move, and is immune to fighting. Sableye has a recovery move. Is immune to fighting. Just trying to think if there's Sableye. Sableye fighting, immune to psychic. Oh, there's Toxapex. We could have went Pex, but we like the Wish, so we're not gonna go Pex. Fighting's actually gonna be a legit type. Like, they're not that many. Like, for how many strong fighting types there are now. Yeah, they're like not that great fighting resist. My boy Mince. You think, what type does this core not cover? Electric to a degree. You know what could, no, I can beat that thing. Well, unless it has Fire Punch. Electric to a degree. Intimidate. Actually, Salamence gets Wish. Doesn't it? Doesn't it get Wish? They took it. I'm pretty sure Men's got Wish at one. Unless I'm forgetting something, I'm pretty sure Salamence got Wish. It still gets Roost, right? Okay, I was about to flip my namesake. So let's use my namesake here. We're gonna do a dual dragon up. It's gonna be packing the Intimidate. Oh yeah, and we can rock a defensive set with Dragon Tail to punish people with these hazards, right? So we're gonna be rocking the heavy duty boots. What are the moves options? Because that Salamence actually has really high HP. Well, high HP. And actually quite solid defense when it's invested in. So let's see what we're going to be rocking first. Obviously a fire move. Flamethrower. And Heat Transient. Is it Heat Transient in this game? I don't even know. Maybe Horror. I guess Iron Defense. That's super interesting. Let me see. Is Body Press something like this? Doesn't get Body Bonus. Iron Defense is super random. But I get if Shelgon got it, then you know, so be it. Again, guys, this is just a random throw together of things because we have no information, which is why I wanted to show you guys the process. And we'll have a one tomorrow, which is going to be a bit shorter, though I know many people actually enjoy longer videos of this kind. So we're going to put part of me wants to put 2 dragon moves because I think they're relevant dragon types in the tier now. Boost. Because I'm thinking if I want Dragon Tail to be my only option for when I'm attacking with a Dragon type move. For now, for now, we are going to use a coverage move in Earthquake. Very good coverage there, though coverage isn't really what it's about, not for this Pokemon at least. Because I don't even know what we're going to be facing speed-wise. We're just going to keep it like that. And yeah, this is our tentative team. So if we look, step 2 says check what Pokemon or common strategy to stop your goal from trying to achieve. Now the goal is to get Meowie, whatever, to do a lot of damage and work and destroy people with his stabs. And so we did that by applying, because it's something that is always locked into a move because of the choice band item, we're going to support it with, and it's going to be doing a lot of switching, we're going to support it with entry hazards as well as a volt switch. And wish support, I guess, but not really, because again, it's not meant to take damage. So entry hazards are the most important components. I have no idea where we were, but oh yeah, so this isn't even the screen. Yeah, the documents. Okay, all right, so my apologies about that. Somebody knocked and I had to answer it. But as far as step 1, we decided we're gonna build around MEOWSKARADA. We check what common strategies would stop our goals. So okay, we check it's grass and it's a physical grass and dark type. Okay, what would be problems for that? So we added Rotom and Garchomp to help support that. We figured, okay, well, no entry hazards would be an issue, and then volt switching along with U-turning along with entry hazards would give Pokemon a hard time. Now you're like, how could you know this? That's a whole other video, right? Exciting things coming for you guys. That's all I'll say. Subscribe, hit the like button, guys. I know you're lazy, you're not used to listening to the like button. I get it, it's my fault, but today I'm asking you to do that. So identify what Pokemon or strategies can aid in removing or stopping all the blockers to the goal. So what that basically means is somewhat similar to this. Once you've identified what the problems were, you want to add Pokemon that help support that. And so I'm like, okay, well, this could struggle with bulky steels, and so I added a ground and fire type to support that. Then you start putting together a rough draft to avoid being trapped in perfection. So that's why I was like, I'll just throw a Vaporeon on there. We're just throwing stuff on there that we think may work, but it's not going to be perfect. Every team you build in the first stages that are untested will be flawed, and so just know that going in, and don't dwell all week on making one team, because step 6 is going to solve that anyway. So step 5 is you can refine that draft, which is sort of what we were doing when we switched from whatever we were going to use to Salamence. It's just to ensure you can handle common offensive threats and defensive cores within the respective metagame. But because there is no metagame yet, because it's a new game, that part isn't as relevant. And then step 6, you're generally going to be forgetting something. So use the team on the ladder to see what you may be struggling with. So that's what we're going to do now. There's going to be a video coming out soon after this that's going to go into us actually playing, and I'm super hyped for us to hit the ladder and see what we're made of, guys. So stay tuned, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a few. Again, if you have any questions, any tips, improvements, all that in the comments, I welcome all of it. I'm going to be doing these team building videos on a regular basis with all as many Pokemon as I can from the new tier that are viable. So from the news game that are viable. So if you have anything that I can be better at, things that would be helpful for you, all of that, let me know so I can add it to these videos. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.